Most people don't destroy their lives in one dramatic moment. They destroy them slowly, quietly, by saying yes when they should have started. He thought he was being kind, responsible, mature. If someone needed help, he was there. If work demanded extra hours, he stayed. If friends needed emotional support, he listened, even when he was exhausted. Over time, people learned something about Daniel. He would always adjust. He would always sacrifice. He would always be available. Everyone trusted him, depended on him, and slowly stopped asking whether he wanted to help at all. From the outside, Daniel looked fine. Stable job, familiar routine, people around him. But inside, he was tired in a way sleep could not fix. He woke up already drained and went to bed feeling empty. He didn't feel like the owner of his life. He felt like a service provider. The truth was uncomfortable but clear. Daniel was living according to other people's expectations. He believed that saying no would make him selfish, that people would think less of him, that he would lose relationships, that he would end up alone. So he kept saying yes, even when his body was begging him to stop. Every yes cost him something: his time, his energy, his peace. Slowly, without realizing it, he stopped trusting his own feelings. He ignored his exhaustion. He ignored his frustration. He ignored the quiet voice inside him that kept saying, "This is not the life you wanted." Years passed like this, not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly disappearing. One evening after another long day, Daniel sat alone in his car outside his apartment. The engine was off. The street was silent. For the first time in hours, no one needed anything from him. He had worked overtime again, delayed his plans again, carried other people's stress again. He looked at his reflection in the mirror and barely recognized the person staring back. He looked older than his age, tired in his eyes, empty in his expression, and a question surfaced, simple but dangerous. When did my life become about everyone else? That question didn't leave him. It followed him home. It followed him to bed. It followed him into the next morning. At work, a colleague approached him with the same request Daniel had heard 100 times before. "Can you take this extra task?" Normally, Daniel would say yes before the sentence even finished. This time, something inside him paused. His chest tightened. His hands felt cold. His mind screamed, "Say yes, don't cause trouble." But his body resisted. For the first time in years, Daniel listened to himself. His voice was calm but unfamiliar as he spoke. "I can't do this today." The silence that followed felt heavy. He waited for anger, for disappointment, for rejection. None came. The colleague nodded and walked away. That was it. The world didn't collapse. No one shouted. No one punished him. But inside Daniel, something cracked open. That night, guilt hit him hard. He replayed the moment again and again. Was I rude? Was I selfish? Did I fail someone? But then another thought appeared, quieter but stronger. The guilt wasn't because he had done something wrong. It was because he had done something new. When you spend your whole life saying yes, your first no feels like a crime. But discomfort is not danger. It is growth. Over the next weeks, Daniel started noticing how often he said yes out of fear, not choice. Fear of conflict, fear of rejection, fear of being misunderstood. Slowly, carefully, he began practicing saying no. Not aggressively, not emotionally, just honestly. No when he was tired, no when something didn't align with his priorities, no when he felt drained. Some people respected it immediately. Some tried to pressure him, reminding him of who he used to be. Some made jokes. Some grew distant. That hurt more than he expected, but it also taught him a truth that changed everything. People who only stay when you say yes are not loyal to you. They are loyal to your availability. As Daniel created boundaries, space entered his life. Time he didn't know he had. Energy he thought he had lost forever. He started using that space to think, to reflect, to reconnect with dreams he had buried years ago because they were inconvenient to others. He started waking up earlier, not because he had to, but because he wanted to. He felt clearer, calmer, stronger. His confidence didn't come from motivation or success. It came from keeping promises to himself. Saying no didn't make him cold. It didn't make him arrogant. It made his yes meaningful. When Daniel chose to help someone, it was no longer from fear or guilt. It was from intention, from choice, from strength. He learned that boundaries are not walls built to keep people out. They are filters that protect what matters most. Daniel finally understood something every adult must learn, often too late. You don't owe access to everyone. You don't need permission to protect your peace. And you don't have to sacrifice yourself to be loved. The power of saying no didn't just change Daniel's schedule. It changed his identity. He stopped living for approval and started living with self-respect. And maybe the reason this story feels heavy is because deep down you already know what your life could look like if you had the courage to say one honest no. If this story resonated with you, share it with someone who keeps putting themselves last. Subscribe for more real-life stories like this. And remember, sometimes the most powerful decision you'll ever make begins with a single word: no.